Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on today's video. My name is Amina for those of you who are new here. Before I get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me if you subscribed, and hit the notification bell while you're at it. Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize if you see my ring light's reflection on my glasses today. It's a glasses kind of day for me, and I also have to use ring lights because I get no natural lighting in my room. I know it can be really annoying for some people to constantly keep seeing that, so I'm gonna try my best to stay out of the way. Like, I'm gonna try my best to not look like this. Okay. I need to get a better lighting situation. I'm working on it. Coming soon. So it's been a while since I've done like a sit down and talk kind of video, and today's video I feel like is a little bit more on the serious note. Not necessarily serious, but definitely less silly like how I usually am. So today we're talking about something that affects a lot of people every year, and that is seasonal depression, also known as seasonal affective disorder. So according to Google, the definition of seasonal affective disorder is a mood disorder characterized by depression that occurs at the same time every year, or seasonal affective disorder occurs in climates where there is less sunlight at certain times of the year. So I wanted to read that definition out for you guys because I think it's important to understand that you can be someone who has healthy mental health throughout the year and still be affected by seasonal depression. It actually has a lot to do with our environment and the sun and the weather. I'm definitely someone who struggles with mental health issues throughout the year. I think I noticed around like daylight savings when the time change happened and it started getting dark out so much sooner and we barely got any sunlight, and then the weather started getting colder. It was just a combination of these things. I noticed a lot of depressive symptoms showing up for me. It was getting dark out so early and it just felt like the days were going by way too fast and that I wasn't doing enough to make the most out of them. I felt like my productivity was low. I felt like my energy was low. My motivation was low. My moods were switching. All I wanted to do was bum out. So I was pretty quick to recognize what I was going through as seasonal depression. After talking to a few of my friends and sharing with them how I've been feeling and seeing how they've been dealing with the time change and the weather change and the season change, it was clear that a lot of people around me were going through the same sluggish kind of behaviors and depressive episodes, and it was clear that a lot of us were dealing with seasonal depression. So if you're having a hard time recognizing whether it's seasonal depression that you're dealing with or not, I'm gonna go ahead and list out some symptoms for you guys. A lot of these symptoms I've experienced myself, and some of them I learned while I was doing research for this video. Some common symptoms of seasonal affective disorder include low energy, excessive sleeping, feeling anxious, sluggish, or just overall depressed. Overeating and weight gain are definitely really common ones, as well as craving unhealthy foods, difficulty sleeping, and an overall loss of interest in pleasurable activities that you would usually be into. The biggest ones for me have been low energy, excessive sleeping, and just overall feeling sluggish throughout the day. So before I get started with my tips for dealing with seasonal depression, I just want to put out there that I'm not a doctor or a professional in any sense. These are just things that I've implemented into my life that work for me, as well as some of the things that I learned while doing research for this video. So tip number one for me would be physical activity. Now, I totally understand that a lot of people just leave the house to go to work or do the things that they have to take care of and then come back home and they just bum out for the rest of the day. That's totally understandable. That's the way that I was on as well. We also can't forget the fact that we're in the middle of a global pandemic and extracurricular activities are just not expected of people right now. So with that said, I think it's really important that we make time for physical activities throughout our day. And I understand that going to the gym is not the safest option right now either. I personally am scared to go to the gym, and I'm someone who likes going to the gym. I'm not a workout at home kind of person. I like a gym environment. I like to use machines. I like to use weights. So I totally understand that some of you who think that it's not the safest option to go to the gym right now have just been at home, not really getting much physical activity in. That's exactly how I was. I bummed out the entire quarantine, and it wasn't up until recently, I would say like a month or two ago, when I realized I have to get my body moving. With the season changing, I started feeling so much more lazy, and I hate to use the word lazy because that's rarely what it is. Whenever you think you're feeling lazy, it's most likely something else that's going on with your body or your mind or something else. I feel like the word lazy has such a negative connotation to it. It's pretty much saying that you have the choice to either go do something productive or just bum out, and you're always choosing bum out, when that's rarely the case. Depression is a real mental disorder. I think calling it just laziness is actually lazy in itself. Coming from someone who consistently deals with depression, I hate to feel like I'm making the choice to be unproductive or unmotivated or just not doing as much as the next person's doing. And because it rarely is my fault, it's really just my brain, it takes a lot of work and help to overcome that. So if anyone's giving you a hard time for bumming out, don't let them get to you. And if you are one of those people that's like, you gotta get up and grind every day, let's go harder, push ourselves harder. If you're still in bed, you're lazy, you're a bum, you're this and that, like, that's a cute like mentality to motivate people, but when you're using it against people who are suffering from depression, then it just really isn't effective. I think we need to be a little more understanding and compassionate. Everyone is really fighting a battle that you don't know about, so let's just all be a little more kind. Anyways, back to physical activity. So I was talking about how most of quarantine and pretty much most of this year I've been bumming out, chilling, getting a lot more sleep than I need to be getting, and it wasn't until my body started literally getting squishy and I felt like I was about to start gaining weight, and I just felt so bad physically. I was like, I have to start doing some kind of physical activity, and going to the gym was just not something that I was ready for because, you know, COVID is still out there. The gym is definitely a germy place. My immune system is fairly weak. I'm that person that would get sick. So I was like, going to the gym is a no for me. Of course, everyone was doing at-home workouts, finding things on YouTube. There's some great workout videos out there, but I still felt like jumping into like a HIIT workout was just not realistic for me. So I was like, what can I do that's just enough to get me moving, but not crazy fast paced, because I'm still not there yet mentally. So I decided to start doing yoga. And I've never done yoga before. I have no experience with yoga. So this was really my first time. I found a YouTuber, I'm sure you guys know her, Yoga with Adriene. She's like the biggest yoga shorty on YouTube. I found her channel and I looked through her videos. She had videos for beginners, intermediate, advanced, everything. So I saw she had a beginner's 30-day yoga challenge thing. So it's like yoga every day for 30 days. And by the end of it, you're like pretty solid yoga doer. Me being someone that didn't have any experience with yoga, I thought that would be perfect for me. So I started doing that, and I was really pleasantly surprised by yoga, you guys. I didn't know that it could really tone you the way that it did. It's a slower progression than, you know, going to the gym and getting gains. It was exactly what I needed. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a snooze session every day. This girl would be going hard, especially if you haven't been using your muscles for so long. I was so sore after some of these sessions. So each video was around 20 to 30 minutes long, which was perfect, not long at all. Everyone has 20 to 30 minutes to spare in the day. I highly recommend that if you're into like a low impact kind of workout, or if you're just a beginner and you don't want to go too crazy with the workouts. I'm gonna link her 30-day challenge videos. I think she has a playlist for it, so I'm gonna link that for you guys, for anyone that wants to check that out. It definitely did just the trick for me, so thankful for that. But besides yoga, you guys have to start getting out and doing any kind of physical activity. Go run around your neighborhood, go do some jump roping in your garage, or follow any at-home workout on YouTube. There's so many to pick from. You just have to get your body moving. It makes all the difference in the world. Okay, tip number 2, getting sunlight / vitamin D. So with the seasons changing, obviously the sun is going down way sooner. I mean, it's dark outside and it's not even 5:30 yet. I can't make this up. The sun is really gone. The time change honestly messed me up so bad this year, you guys. It took me so long to get used to it. I was getting so tired as soon as the sun went down, and there's still a good part of the day left. Like 6 p.m. and it's snooze town on this side. It was not good. That's also why I bring up vitamin D, because as you guys know, we all need vitamin D in our bodies, and our main source of vitamin D is the sun. Now with the sun gone, we have to find other ways to get it. So I went out and got my very first bottle of vitamin D tablets. I'm not someone who likes to take pills. It's really hard for me to swallow pills. It feels very unnatural to me. I gag every time. It's just not fun and cute, but I have to. I've always had a vitamin D deficiency. I've been to the doctors about it before. My doctor actually told me that he's never seen anybody with as little vitamin D in their body as I do. So I was a little shook. I had to go get a bottle and I have to take it every day. That's just what we have to do. I highly recommend that you guys go do that, as well as any other pills that you might need, like iron. I also take iron pills, multivitamins, you know, just keep up on your vitamins. Your body will thank you for it later when you're older. As far as getting actual sunlight goes, we have to just make the most out of the sun while it's still out, which pretty much means getting up earlier maybe, and actually making an effort to leave your house to get sunlight. Now, I don't mean go out and hang out and go on a picnic and go shopping and do all kinds of things. We're still in a pandemic. Don't get crazy. I'm talking about go outside, maybe go sit on your patio or balcony, maybe go take a walk around your neighborhood. You just need 20 to 30 minutes of sunlight every day to really get your dose of vitamin D and keep all your things balanced in your body. Something that I found out about was a thing called light therapy. So I guess you can buy a light box, and it's just a warm, natural kind of light that resembles sunlight. A lot of people during the winter seasons, they like to sit in front of it for 20 to 30 minutes every morning, and that actually helps your body feel stimulated the same way that the sun would. So that's something that I thought was really cool, and a lot of people do it. I had no idea that it was such a common solution to this problem, and I'm actually considering getting one myself. It's honestly just too cold to go outside sometimes, you know? These days the temperature's been hitting like 40 degrees in Georgia. I don't know about y'all, but I'm staying home. Tip number 3 is something that I had already been kind of doing, which is to eat healthier. Right now would definitely be the best time to change your diet, go try out some new things. You don't have to get crazy and go full vegan, but maybe switching out some of your unhealthy snacks for healthier options. And there definitely are some really good healthy options out there, you guys. You just have to go look. For me, my biggest motivation for eating healthy is because I don't want any unnecessary weight gain, which is really easy to fall into during this time of the year. And also because of my skin. My skin is really sensitive to what I eat and what I put into my body. I've had to learn throughout the years the hard way that the things that I eat have a direct effect on my skin. So if I want to maintain any kind of clear skin, I just have to eat healthy. There's no way around it for me personally. But even if you have perfect skin and weight all year round, it's still very important that you're putting the right things in your body. There are so many healthy alternatives to snacks. One thing that works well for me is to really heavily shop at Trader Joe's. I live in the South, so the 2 big grocery store chains in my area are Kroger and Publix. I've been to both of these a number of times throughout my life, and I've been to the organic section in both of these as well to see their healthier options, to see their healthy snacks. They have plenty of healthy alternatives to chips and dips and even meats. I don't know if you guys are into Beyond Meats. I definitely am. I am not a meat kind of person at all. I am not a vegetarian or a vegan or a pescatarian. I definitely have my meat days, but generally I'm not a big meat eater. I don't like the way that I feel after I eat meat. It makes me feel really full and sluggish in like an unhealthy way, and that's just not how you're supposed to feel after you're finished eating a meal. You're supposed to feel fulfilled and energized after eating a meal, not like stuffed. So once I understood that, it was important for me to start making the changes necessary. And one of the easiest changes I've been making to my diet is just switching out my meats for meatless options. There's plenty of meatless sausages, patties, just different things. I know for some people, like that the idea of meatless meat is gross, and to me the idea of eating meat with every meal is gross. So it's really just a personal preference. You don't have to be a vegan to try Beyond Meats and meatless options. And needless to say, don't knock it until you try it. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Make sure you're getting enough greens. I've learned to really love vegetables. I love vegetables at this point in my life. Never thought I'd be here, but I'm here and I love it here. I'm also not someone that likes white rice. I try to avoid white rice as much as possible because it just makes me so bloated. It gives me that super full feeling that I try to avoid. A lot of people don't understand that you're only supposed to eat until your hunger is satisfied. You don't have to eat until you're stuffed and full. Like, the concept of being full is actually a really unhealthy one. That's where portion controlling comes in, and that's where you're supposed to be mindful about the kind of things that you are eating, because a lot of foods, even if you have a little bit of it, it will leave you feeling super full. And for me, white rice is definitely one of those things. I don't like the feeling of being stuffed. I don't like the feeling of being bloated. So I always look for brown rice alternatives. I know there's quinoa options as well. I know a lot of people like quinoa. I personally don't. I've really tried to get with the quinoa and I just cannot. I think it's the texture just doesn't do it for me. I don't like the way it feels in my mouth. It's just not it for me. So I stick to my brown rice and I try to incorporate it every time I need rice. Also, I'm like obsessed with Trader Joe's. I'm sure you guys know because I've mentioned it in my vlogs before. And I feel like whenever I bring up Trader Joe's, a lot of people assume that it's one of those stores that's like Whole Foods, where everything is kind of really pricey and it's bougie and it's just a whole different shopping experience compared to regular grocery stores. And I'm here to debunk that myth. That is not true, you guys. Whole Foods is pricey. Trader Joe's is not. Trader Joe's is actually way more affordable than some of the grocery stores in my area. Whenever I go to Trader Joe's, I can get so many things for literally half the price of what I would spend if I got that many things at my local Kroger down the street. I guess it's just people's unfamiliarity and not knowing, so they make that assumption, but you guys have to understand, I go there because they have so many healthy options and because it's so affordable, like honestly. Also, this is the best time to make a new diet and exercise plan for yourself, because if you just start right now and stick to it, then by the summertime you'll have that routine down. It's just easier to start now because we all want to stay at home because the weather's cold and it's just that season where you're not trying to leave the house like that. So before the summer comes around and we're out here thotting and bopping, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can thought and bop if we get this pandemic under control. Before we get there and you're still feeling not too great about yourself, get that under control right now while you have the time. Moving on to tip number 4, stick to a schedule. This one kind of goes along with what I said earlier about trying to maximize on your time in the sun. Creating a general schedule for yourself during these months is definitely helpful to keep you on track of your day. That way you won't be spending extra time in bed or eating at irregular times and gaining unnecessary weight. A lot of people end up binging on junky food to comfort them, which is totally understandable, but to avoid that, it's good to stick to a schedule, because that way you know, like, okay, my lunchtime is coming up, let me get my meal ready for that, and then you're just not eating until the next meal that you have scheduled. In between then, of course, it's okay to have healthy snacks. Having all your meals scheduled out as well as the rest of your day scheduled out just keeps you focused and always doing something, because then you have like a little time limit during one task, because you know the next task is coming up and you gotta go do that as well. The hardest part about this is just creating the schedule. Trust me, that's the part that took me the longest. I was procrastinating on even making a schedule for myself, but once I finally just got it down, like a very general bulleted list about like, okay, around this time I have to get up. I even put in a time to actually be out of bed. I gave myself like 15 minutes from the time that I wake up to the time that I get out of bed, because I know myself and I know I'm the type of person that wants to lay in bed for a second and maybe scroll through my phone or do something. So I allotted that time for myself. And beyond that, it's like, get up, go do your exercise, eat breakfast, do your work, eat lunch, hang out for a bit, eat dinner, whatever it is. It can be very general. You can fill your day however you like, but sticking to a general schedule will help you not only be a little more productive than usual, and also help you avoid any unnecessarily unhealthy choices that you might be making, like lounging in bed for too long or eating unnecessary snacks. Also, it's really important to schedule a bedtime for yourself and stick to it. I'm definitely a night owl. I've been one my entire life, so it's not easy for me to go to bed. I feel very comfortable staying up late almost all night sometimes, and it's just not healthy. So in order to get your body into the routine of going to bed, you have to schedule it and you have to be in bed by that time. The one thing that really helps my body relax and calm down and get ready for bed is to not be on my phone. So at a certain point in the night, I literally put my phone on do not disturb and I don't touch it again. Being on your phone and scrolling through Twitter or Instagram or whatever it is, it keeps your mind so stimulated that it's hard to get your brain to wind back down and get ready to go to sleep. So I just try to avoid that for the last like hour before I'm going to bed. I try to either read, or sometimes I watch YouTube videos until I'm sleepy again, or a documentary or something that'll just slow my pace. And as long as I'm on my phone, my pace is not slow, because I'm either texting somebody or on FaceTime or scrolling through Instagram. There's just so much to do and see on your phone, so you just have to put it aside. Be disciplined. Once you get into the habit, it's so helpful, you guys. Trust me on this one. And getting a full night's rest is also major key in creating and sticking to a schedule. So tip number 5 is to take some time for yourself and keep your brain active in a healthy way. So while I was researching online, a lot of people said that the best way to do this is to keep a journal. And every day just write something in your journal, whether it's in the middle of the day or at the end of the day. You can make like a diary entry about your day. You can write one positive thing that's happened throughout the day. You're allowed to journal in whatever way makes you happy. I'm not gonna lie, journaling is something that's always been kind of hard for me to get into. I've just never been able to consistently do it. And even when I am doing it, I feel like my mind is just all over the place and it's hard for me to really focus and be mindful. And I'm sure that's for a number of other reasons, but realistically, it's hard for me to get into journaling. One thing that definitely works for me and brings me pleasure and gives me a moment with myself is reading. I know that a lot of people my age aren't really into reading, and honestly, reading is so dope. One, the bookstore itself is such a vibe, you guys. It's so relaxing and it's so fun to just go around and look at all the different books and read the back of them and try to figure out which book you really want. And the whole experience, I bet some of you haven't done that in years, and I highly recommend you go do that for yourself. Also, people forget how many things there are books about. There are endless stories, nonfiction, fiction, so many genres. Like, I understand that in school we were made to read a lot of books that were just boring. They were just plain boring. And I wish schools did a better job of assigning us more interesting books, because for a lot of people, that just turned you guys off of reading forever. Honestly, you owe it to yourself to go try to make that experience better and try again. Go to the bookstore, buy a book, start reading. It's literally a form of entertainment. Like, it's just as fun as watching a movie or a show or scrolling through Instagram. Like, it's like a whole story taking place. It's just something that I always recommend to everybody. Reading is fun and fundamental. And kind of going back to what I said about tip number 4, you really want to step away from social media, you guys. Social media makes all of us way more depressed than we would even realize. We are honestly addicted to these apps, and it's such an influx of information constantly coming in. It's too much for our brains. A lot of it is triggering information. A lot of it is sad information. I mean, the state of the world right now is just not a happy one. That's the truth. And to consistently see that and take it in, it would depress anybody. And whether you believe it or not, you are addicted to social media. That's just a fact. Try not to allow yourself to be one of those people that lets hours of the day go by with just you scrolling through social media. I swear there's life beyond that. There's life outside of that. Pull away from the screen. It's hard, but it's not impossible. Make time for yourself to do something that you'll think is fun. Go do a puzzle, go paint, go try to cook. There's so many things for you to do. You just have to make the effort of doing it. The hard part is like actually getting yourself up and doing it. Just being able to enjoy your own company for a few minutes out of the day is going to make all the difference. And that time with yourself is going to be something that you look forward to every single day. I really hope these tips have been useful for you guys. I really just want my people to be happy and healthy. And I know times get hard. I know depression really can kick your ass. Trust me, I know. These are just 5 really simple, easy tips that I hope you guys implement into your lives. If I can do it, then you definitely can too. I am the laziest person in the world. I swear, I do not like to work. I am not made to work. My dream job is no job. So if I can get my ass up and go be productive and do something and just not slump around because I know it's bad for my health, then so can you. Trust me. But also, don't be crazy hard on yourself. Be compassionate to yourself and one another. Be kind to yourself and one another. I want to see happier individuals around me. I want to see healthier individuals around me. I want to see smarter individuals around me. So all of these tips, I hope, are going to help you be all of those things. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. It's a little different from what I've done before. I really think it's an important topic, and I'm glad I was able to talk about it. I really want to start a conversation about this. Leave comments down below. Tell me what you've been dealing with lately. Tell me if you've felt any of these symptoms. Tell me if any of these tips resonated with you at all. I'm sure you guys have been watching the time and noticed that it's taking me hours to film this because my camera keeps overheating and dying. I got frustrated and almost gave up on filming this, but I didn't give up. You know why I did that? For me and for you, but mostly for me. Filming videos for YouTube is definitely something that's been keeping me sane, so I'm thankful for this platform. I'm thankful for all my viewers. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. My camera is overheating again, so I'm gonna go before it dies on me. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!